Princess Vera stood at the grand altar of the Zentari Imperial Palace, her silver dress flowing like liquid starlight across the polished floor. Beside her, a human man named Ben waited quietly. He wore simple ceremonial robes that looked plain next to her royal garments. The massive hall buzzed with hundreds of alien dignitaries from across the galaxy, all watching this historic moment. "Do you, Princess Vera of the Zentari Empire, take this human as your bonded partner in the name of peace between our worlds?" The High Chancellor's voice echoed through the chamber. Vera looked at Ben. He seemed ordinary for someone about to change galactic politics. Average height, brown hair, calm brown eyes. Nothing special. She had expected someone more impressive when her father announced this marriage alliance. "I do," she said. Ben smiled softly when his turn came. "I do," he replied in accented Zentari. His voice was steady and warm. The crowd erupted in cheers. Musicians played celebration songs while colorful lights danced across the ceiling. Vera felt relief wash over her. After 300 years of small wars between their species, this marriage would finally bring peace. Her father, Emperor Cain, approached them with a broad smile. "Today marks a new age," he announced to the crowd. "The Zentari Empire and humanity stand united through this bond." Ben bowed respectfully. "My people are honored by this alliance, Your Majesty." Vera studied her new husband during the reception. Human diplomats had described him as their finest negotiator, someone who understood both war and peace. But he looked more like a teacher than a warrior. He spent most of the party listening politely to Zentari nobles who spoke down to him. "So tell me, human," Lord Nexer said with barely hidden contempt, "what exactly can your primitive species offer our mighty empire?" Ben sipped his drink calmly. "We offer friendship, Lord Nexer. Sometimes that matters more than weapons." Several Zentari nobles laughed. Vera felt embarrassed for her husband. Did he not understand how weak that sounded? "Friendship?" Lady Corvex joined the conversation. "The Korath Dominion has been building fleets at our borders. They see this alliance as weakness. What will your friendship do when their warships arrive?" "Hopefully prevent unnecessary bloodshed," Ben replied. "War rarely solves problems permanently." More laughter. Vera wanted to defend him but did not know what to say. These nobles commanded star fleets and ruled entire planets. Ben seemed like a gentle scholar who avoided conflict. Later that evening, as the celebration continued, General Thane pulled Vera aside. "Princess, I must speak honestly," the old warrior said. "Our intelligence reports show massive Korath military movement. They see this human alliance as an opportunity to attack while we appear weak." "How massive?" Vera asked. 3 full battle fleets. Maybe more. They think humans cannot fight and that we have grown soft through this peace treaty. Vera glanced at Ben, who was having a quiet conversation with several human advisors she had not noticed before. "What do our new allies bring militarily?" Thane shrugged. "A few patrol ships. Some defensive platforms. Nothing that could stop a serious Korath invasion. Princess, I fear this marriage may have doomed us all." The next morning, Vera and Ben traveled to Haven Station, a border world that would serve as their new home. The space station orbited a beautiful blue planet surrounded by asteroid fields and trade routes. It seemed peaceful enough. "This will be our home?" Vera asked as their transport ship approached the docking bay. "For now," Ben said. Haven Station sits at the crossroads of several important shipping lanes. Very strategic location. The station looked smaller than Vera expected. Maybe 50,000 residents, mostly traders and miners. Not exactly a royal palace. The docking bay held various ships, cargo haulers, mining vessels, and a few small patrol craft. Ben seemed more relaxed here than at the wedding. He moved with quiet confidence, greeting station personnel by name. Vera noticed that many humans worked here in positions she had assumed were filled by Zentari citizens. "You have been here before?" she asked. "Several times during negotiations," Ben replied. "I helped design some of the new infrastructure improvements." Their quarters were comfortable but simple. Ben showed her around the station over the following days. She found it odd how many communication arrays and cargo processing centers the humans had built. For a minor species, they certainly invested heavily in border infrastructure. Vera also noticed Ben's daily routine. Every morning before dawn, he disappeared into what he called his maintenance room. She assumed it was some kind of exercise chamber, though she often heard strange mechanical sounds from inside. "What exactly do you do in there?" she asked one morning. "Just keeping myself sharp," Ben said with that same calm smile. "Old habits." "Sharp for what?" "You never know when skills might be needed." Vera found his answers frustratingly vague. She tried to peek inside his maintenance room once but found it locked with security systems she did not recognize. 3 weeks into their marriage, the first troubling reports arrived. Koroth scout ships had been spotted near the outer system boundaries. General Thane contacted Vera through encrypted channels. "Princess, we have confirmed intelligence. The Koroth are planning a major offensive. 3 invasion fleets, possibly more. They want to test this new alliance and see how humans fight." Vera felt her stomach drop. "How long do we have?" "Days, maybe a week. I recommend immediate evacuation of Haven Station." That evening, Vera found Ben reviewing tactical reports in their shared office. Dozens of screens showed ship movements, defensive positions, and supply logistics. She had never seen him look so focused. "Ben, we need to leave," she said urgently. "The Koroth are coming with overwhelming force. This station cannot withstand a real attack." Ben looked up from his screens. "Leave? Why would we do that?" "Because we will die if we stay. General Thane says they have enough ships to destroy everything in this system." "Thane is a good soldier," Ben said thoughtfully. "But he thinks like a Zentari. Sometimes different approaches work better." "What does that mean?" Ben stood and walked to the large viewport overlooking the asteroid fields. "Vera, do you trust me?" She wanted to say yes, but honestly felt uncertain. "I trust that you want peace. But wanting peace and surviving war are different things." "True." Ben turned back to her. "I need to make some preparations. Can you give me a few days?" "Preparations for what?" "Evacuation. Something like that." The next morning, Vera watched Ben have a series of private meetings with humans she had never seen before. They looked different from the usual diplomats and traders. These people moved like soldiers, though they wore civilian clothes. They spoke in low voices and used terms she did not understand. She also noticed increased activity around the station. Ships that had been docked for weeks suddenly departed. New vessels arrived daily, though they looked like ordinary cargo haulers. The communication arrays Ben had helped install began transmitting constantly. "Who are all these new people?" Vera asked Ben during dinner. "Consultants," he replied. "Helping with some technical upgrades." "What kind of upgrades?" "Improvements to our defensive capabilities." Vera laughed bitterly. "Ben, this station has maybe 12 patrol ships and some mining lasers. What defensive capabilities?" Ben cut his food slowly. "You might be surprised." That night, Vera could not sleep. She walked through the station corridors, trying to understand what felt different. The place buzzed with quiet energy. People moved with purpose. She spotted several humans in areas that should have been restricted. Near the main power core, she overheard part of a conversation between Ben and a woman she did not recognize. "All systems are online," the woman reported. "Grid connections confirmed across 17 platforms." "Response time?" Ben asked. Less than 3 seconds from your command. Good. What about the deep coverage? Every approach vector is mapped. They won't see it coming until it's too late. Vera backed away, confused and worried. What were they talking about? What systems? What platforms? The next day brought devastating news. Korath battle fleets had entered the outer system. Massive dreadnought-class warships accompanied by hundreds of fighters and assault ships. Early reports suggested over 200 enemy vessels approaching Haven Station. General Thane's frantic transmission reached them within hours. "Princess, you must evacuate immediately. This force is 10 times larger than we expected. They mean to make an example of this alliance." Vera ran to find Ben. She discovered him in the main command center, surrounded by screens showing the approaching enemy fleet. He looked completely calm as he studied ship positions and attack vectors. "Ben, we have to go now," she said breathlessly. 200 Korath warships are coming to destroy us." Ben nodded without looking away from his screens. "I know. Impressive fleet. Then why are you not panicking?" He finally turned to face her. For the first time since their wedding, Vera saw something different in her husband's eyes. Not fear or panic, but cold calculation. "Because, my dear wife," Ben said quietly, "I have been preparing for this moment since the day we met." The command center filled with urgent voices as more reports streamed in. Vera watched the main display screen show red dots representing Korath ships entering their star system. Each dot meant death for thousands of people. 237 confirmed vessels, reported Commander Hayes, one of the humans Vera had thought was just a trade coordinator. 3 dreadnought-class battleships leading the formation. Ben studied the tactical display with intense focus. "Time to weapons range." 18 hours at current speed, Hayes replied. Vera grabbed Ben's arm. 18 hours? That is all the time we have. We need to start evacuation procedures right now. Evacuation? Ben turned to face her with that same calm expression. "Why would we evacuate our home?" "Because we are about to die," Vera said, her voice rising. "Those are Korath warships, not cargo haulers. Each dreadnought carries enough firepower to crack planets." Ben nodded thoughtfully. "Yes, they are quite impressive ships. The Korath build excellent weapons. Then you understand why we must flee." "Actually, I understand why they think this will be easy." Ben touched several controls on his command console. "Computer, activate Protocol 7. Protocol 7 activated, the station computer responded. "All systems standing by." Vera had never heard of Protocol 7. "What is that?" "Something we prepared for situations like this," Ben said. He turned to Commander Hayes. "Signal all hidden platforms to battle readiness." "Hidden platforms?" Vera stared at him. "What hidden platforms?" Hayes began typing rapidly. "All platforms responding. Stealth systems holding. They still cannot detect our positions." Ben walked to the large viewport overlooking the asteroid field. "Vera, come here. Let me show you something." She joined him reluctantly. Outside, the asteroids looked the same as always. Chunks of rock and ice floating peacefully in space. "What am I supposed to see?" Ben pointed to a large asteroid about 2 kilometers away. "That one there. What does it look like to you?" "A rock." "Computer, decloak platform 12. Suddenly, the asteroid shimmered and changed. What had looked like natural rock revealed itself as a massive weapons platform bristling with missile launchers and energy cannons. Vera gasped in shock. "How is that possible?" "Human technology," Ben said simply. "We call it adaptive camouflage. Very useful for defensive positions." "How many of those are out there?" Ben smiled for the first time since the crisis began. "Computer, show Princess Vera the full defensive grid." The viewport display changed to show a tactical overview of the entire system. Dozens of red indicators appeared throughout the asteroid fields, around the planet, and along the major shipping routes. Every one marked a hidden weapons platform. Vera counted them with growing amazement. 47 platforms. When did you build all this? We have been working on it for months, Ben replied. Ever since the marriage negotiations began. We suspected the Koroth might see our alliance as weakness. But how? Our sensors never detected any construction. Commander Hayes joined them at the viewport. Princess, your people are excellent warriors, but you think in terms of big fleets and direct confrontation. Humans prefer preparation and patience. Vera turned to Ben with new understanding. You are not just a diplomat, are you? I am many things, Ben said quietly. Diplomat, negotiator, and when necessary, a soldier. What kind of soldier builds secret weapon platforms without anyone noticing? The kind who wants to keep his wife and new home safe. An alarm sounded throughout the command center. Contact, Hayes reported. Koroth advanced scouts entering the inner system. Ben moved to his command station with sudden urgency. How many scouts? 12 light cruisers, moving fast. They are scanning everything, looking for defensive positions. Let them look, Ben said. Computer, maintain stealth protocols. All platforms remain hidden. Vera watched the display as red dots representing Koroth scout ships moved through their system. They flew past hidden weapon platforms without detecting anything unusual. Sir, called another operator Vera had never seen before. Koroth scouts are transmitting back to their main fleet. They report minimal defenses detected. Perfect, Ben replied. Let them think we are helpless. But we are not helpless, Vera said, beginning to understand. No, we are not. Over the next several hours, Vera watched her husband transform into someone completely different. The quiet diplomat disappeared, replaced by a precise military commander who spoke in sharp, efficient sentences. He coordinated with people throughout the station using terms she had never heard him use before. Hayes, what is the status on the deep field sensors? All active, sir. We have complete tracking on every enemy vessel. Good. Martinez, are the quantum communication links stable? All links green, sir. Zero latency to all platform commanders. Excellent. Ben turned to another operator. Thompson, begin final preparations on the gravity mines. Gravity mines? Vera interrupted. What are gravity mines? Ben paused his rapid-fire commands. Weapons that use gravitational fields to destroy ships. Very effective against large formations. Where did you get gravity mines? We made them, Ben said simply, then returned to his coordination efforts. As evening approached, the main Koroth fleet entered the outer system. The display showed an overwhelming force of massive warships moving steadily toward Haven Station. Vera counted battleships, cruisers, destroyers, and hundreds of smaller attack craft. Final count is 241 enemy vessels, Hayes reported. Total estimated crew of nearly 500,000 Koroth warriors. Vera felt sick. 500,000 soldiers against our few thousand people. Numbers are not everything in warfare, Ben said calmly. Computer, show me attack formation analysis. The display changed to show predicted Koroth attack patterns. Their ships formed into three main groups, clearly planning to surround Haven Station and destroy it from multiple directions. They are using standard Koroth pack tactics, Ben observed. Overwhelming force from all sides to prevent escape. Can we stop them? Vera asked. Ben looked at her with those calm brown eyes that now seemed much deeper than before. Vera, I need you to trust me completely for the next few hours. Can you do that? She nodded, though fear still gripped her heart. Good. Hayes, signal all platform commanders. Execute Phase 1 in 30 minutes. Phase 1, sir. Contact the Korath fleet. Open communications. Several minutes later, the main display showed a large Korath commander with scarred blue skin and fierce yellow eyes. Behind him, Vera could see the bridge of a massive warship. "I am War Leader Grozak of the Korath Dominion," the alien growled. "You will surrender immediately or be destroyed." Ben stepped forward calmly. "I am Ben, representing Haven Station. We are a peaceful trading post. Why do you threaten us?" Grozak laughed harshly. "Peaceful? You marry weak Centauri and think it makes you strong. We will show the galaxy that humans are nothing but soft prey." "I see," Ben replied. "And if we refuse to surrender? Then we will destroy every ship, every building, every living thing in this system. Your pathetic alliance dies today." Ben nodded politely. "Thank you for clarifying your intentions, War Leader Grozak. We will consider your terms." "You have 1 hour," Grozak snarled before cutting the transmission. Vera stared at Ben in disbelief. "Consider his terms? He just threatened to massacre everyone we know." "Yes, he did," Ben agreed. "Which makes this much simpler." "Simpler how?" Ben turned to address the entire command center. "All stations, this is command. We have received formal declaration of hostile intent from Korath forces. All defensive protocols are now authorized." A cheer went up from the human operators. Vera realized that everyone except her had been waiting for this moment. "Sir," Hayes called out. "All platforms report ready for Phase 2. "Not yet," Ben said. "Let them come closer. Patience wins more battles than courage." For the next hour, Vera watched the Korath fleet advance steadily toward Haven Station. The enemy ships spread out into attack formation, completely surrounding their position. It looked hopeless. "Sir, they are powering weapons," Thompson reported. "Multiple target locks detected." "Range?" Ben asked. 60,000 kilometers and closing. "Still too far. Hold position." "Ben," Vera said urgently, "they are about to start shooting at us." "I know." Ben watched his displays with perfect calm. "Almost ready." "Ready for what?" "To show War Leader Grozak what humans do to those who threaten our families." The Korath fleet moved closer, their massive ships growing larger on the visual displays. Vera could see weapon ports opening and energy building in their main guns. 50,000 kilometers, Hayes called out. 40,000. 30,000. Ben raised his hand. "All platforms, this is command. Execute Phase 2. "What happens now?" Vera whispered. Ben looked at her with a cold smile that seemed completely unlike the gentleman she had married. "Now, my dear wife, the Korath learn why humans are not as helpless as we appear." The moment Ben gave the command, space around Haven Station exploded into action. Vera watched in stunned amazement as asteroids throughout the system suddenly revealed themselves as massive weapons platforms. What had looked like empty space now bristled with missile launchers, energy cannons, and defensive systems she could not even identify. "All platforms firing," Hayes reported with satisfaction. The first wave of missiles streaked out from hidden positions throughout the asteroid field. They moved faster than any weapons Vera had ever seen, crossing 30,000 kilometers in seconds. The Korath fleet barely had time to react before the missiles found their targets. "Direct hits on 12 enemy vessels," Thompson called out. 4 destroyers completely destroyed, 8 cruisers heavily damaged. War Leader Grozak's voice roared across the communication channel. "Impossible. Our sensors detected no weapons platforms." Ben calmly activated his reply transmitter. "Perhaps your sensors need improvement, War Leader." On the main display, Vera watched the Korath fleet trying to respond to the sudden attack. Their massive ships turned toward the asteroid field, but they could not target enemies they could not see. "Phase 3, Ben ordered. Activate the gravity mines. Vera had almost forgotten about the gravity mines. Now she watched in fascination as space itself seemed to twist around several Koroth battle groups. The massive warships found themselves pulled into spiraling patterns they could not escape. What exactly are gravity mines doing to them? Vera asked. Creating artificial gravity wells, Ben explained without taking his eyes off the tactical display. Their ships get trapped in gravitational fields that pull them together. Makes them easy targets for our heavier weapons. Sir, Hayes reported excitedly, 3 enemy dreadnoughts caught in Gravity Well 7. They cannot break free. Excellent. All platforms with heavy cannons, focus fire on trapped targets. The hidden weapons platforms revealed more of their capabilities. Massive energy beams lanced out from concealed positions, striking the trapped Koroth dreadnoughts with devastating force. The first dreadnought exploded in a brilliant flash that lit up half the system. Vera gripped the command console as she watched the impossible sight. Ben, how is this happening? Where did all these weapons come from? We have been preparing for this possibility since before our wedding, Ben replied calmly. Humans always plan for the worst-case scenario. But the construction alone would take years. It did take years, Ben said. We started building these defenses the moment we learned about Koroth expansion toward this region. Commander Hayes looked up from his station. Sir, enemy fleet is trying to retreat. Remaining ships are breaking formation. Not yet, Ben said firmly. Computer, activate Phase 4. Deploy the hunter squadrons. Vera had thought she had seen everything, but now small, fast ships began emerging from hidden bases throughout the system. They moved unlike any spacecraft she knew, darting and weaving through space with impossible agility. What are those ships? Unmanned fighters, Ben explained. Controlled by artificial intelligence systems. Much faster and more precise than any pilot could manage. The hunter squadrons swarmed the retreating Koroth ships like angry insects. Their small size made them nearly impossible targets, but their weapons proved devastatingly effective against larger vessels. Vera watched enemy cruisers and destroyers fall one by one to the relentless robotic fighters. War leader Grozak's image appeared on the main screen again. His confident expression had changed to desperate rage. What kind of demons are you humans? This is impossible. Ben stepped forward to reply. We are not demons, war leader. We are simply people who protect our home and family. Your tricks will not save you. I still have over 100 ships. Actually, Ben said politely, you have 87 ships remaining. And that number is decreasing rapidly. Grozak looked around his bridge in confusion, clearly receiving reports that confirmed Ben's count. How do you know our exact numbers? Because we have been tracking every ship in your fleet since you entered our system, Ben replied. We know the location, damage status, and crew complement of every vessel you command. Impossible. Ben touched a control on his console. Computer, display current enemy fleet status for war leader Grozak. The transmission screen split to show a detailed breakdown of every remaining Koroth ship. Damage assessments, crew numbers, and weapon status appeared next to each vessel identification. Grozak stared in horror. You have been watching us this entire time. Of course, Ben said. Good intelligence is the foundation of effective defense. Vera listened to this exchange with growing amazement. The quiet man she had married possessed military capabilities that surpassed anything in Zentari history. He had turned what appeared to be a hopeless battle into a complete victory in less than 2 hours. Sir, Thompson reported, gravity mine fields 7 through 12 are ready for detonation. Wait for my signal, Ben ordered. He turned back to Grozak. War leader, I am prepared to offer you terms. Terms? Grozak snarled. You dare offer terms to the Koroth Dominion? I offer you the chance to retreat with your remaining ships and return to Koroth space. You will inform your leaders that this system is protected by human defensive capabilities. Any future aggression will result in complete destruction of attacking forces. And if we refuse? Ben's expression remained perfectly calm. Then in approximately 30 seconds, the remaining gravity mines will detonate simultaneously. The resulting gravitational waves will tear apart every ship in your fleet. Grozak looked around his bridge again, clearly receiving urgent reports from his surviving captains. You would not dare destroy so many ships. I would prefer not to, Ben admitted. But I will protect my wife and my people by any means necessary. Vera felt a strange warmth in her chest at those words. Her husband truly meant what he said about protecting family. 15 seconds, war leader, Ben said gently. I recommend you decide quickly. Grozak's fierce expression cracked, revealing fear underneath the bluster. You have won this day, human. But the Korath will remember this humiliation. I hope you do remember, Ben replied. It might prevent future misunderstandings. The remaining Korath ships began turning away from Haven Station. Their formation looked ragged and broken compared to the proud fleet that had arrived hours earlier. Vera counted fewer than 70 ships limping away from what should have been an easy victory. Pursuit squadrons ready, Hayes reported. Let them go, Ben ordered. They have learned their lesson. Over the next hour, Vera watched the defeated Korath fleet withdraw from the system entirely. The hunter squadrons shadowed them to the outer boundary but did not attack further. Soon, the system belonged to Haven Station once again. All platforms, stand down to normal alert status, Ben commanded. Begin recovery operations for damaged equipment. As the immediate crisis ended, Vera found herself looking at her husband with completely new eyes. The gentle diplomat who had married her for peace had just orchestrated the most devastating military victory she had ever witnessed. Ben, she said quietly, who exactly are you? He turned to face her with that familiar calm expression, but now she could see the depth of intelligence and experience behind his brown eyes. I am your husband, he said simply. Everything else is just details. Details? You just destroyed one of the largest invasion fleets in galactic history without leaving this command center. I had good help, Ben said, gesturing to the human operators throughout the center. An excellent preparation. Commander Hayes approached them with a satisfied expression. Sir, final damage assessment. Enemy losses, 168 ships destroyed or disabled. Our losses, 0. 0. Vera repeated in disbelief. Not a single platform damaged, Hayes confirmed. The stealth systems worked perfectly. Vera walked to the main viewport and looked out at the asteroid field. Now that she knew what to look for, she could barely make out the shapes of weapon platforms returning to their hidden configurations. How long have you been planning this? She asked. Ben joined her at the viewport. Planning what? A life with you, or defense of our home? Both, I suppose. The defense planning started 3 years ago when we first learned about Korath expansion. The marriage negotiations were genuine. We truly wanted peace with the Zentari Empire. But you prepared for war anyway. Humans have a saying, Ben replied. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And if the Korath had not attacked? Would I have ever learned about all this? Ben considered the question seriously. Probably not. We prefer to keep our defensive capabilities quiet. Makes them more effective. Vera turned to face him directly. Ben, I need to ask you something honestly. Of course. Are there more humans like you? With these kinds of abilities? Ben smiled, and for the first time since she had known him, the expression looked slightly dangerous. Vera, my dear wife, I am not particularly unusual among my people. I am just a soldier who wanted to protect his family and found the right tools for the job. She stared at him as the full implications hit her. Your entire species fights like this. When we need to, Ben said simply. But we much prefer peace. War is messy and expensive. Vera looked back at the asteroid field where hidden weapons waited patiently for the next threat. She thought about the marriage that was supposed to bring her people a minor alliance with a weak species. Instead, she had married into the most formidable military force in the galaxy. I think, she said slowly, that the balance of galactic power just changed completely. Ben nodded. Probably. But do not worry about that now. We have a peaceful system to rebuild and a marriage to enjoy. He offered her his arm with the same gentle courtesy he had shown at their wedding. Vera took it, marveling at how the quiet man beside her had just reshaped her understanding of everything. As they walked back toward their quarters, Vera realized she felt safer than she had ever felt in her entire life.